You're watching Picks on Politics with Dan Manarino.
And welcome back to Picks on Politics, everybody. So this year's mayoral race has more options than most general elections in the city's history. 4 candidates in the hunt to lead New York. But even with more options, there's a group of voters who feel there's not really a candidate who represents their views. Let's talk about former Republican City Councilman Joseph Borelli about this issue, because he's joining me now. So good to see you.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Lots to talk about in the race for mayor and the options that are out there, right? And in fact, the Republican Party elected his nominee, Curtis Sliwa. No real challengers there. Now, I've spoken to many people along the way during the race about why it was him. Why was he anointed to say, and that there wasn't a primary? What do you make of that?
I think a lot of people were concerned that he would simply win the primary if, someone of the Bloomberg model, let's say someone wealthy, someone successful, came out of the woodwork and sought the Republican line. I mean, also, you have to remember, no one saw this scenario when these races were forming. No one saw a scenario where, the incumbent mayor wouldn't be the Democratic nominee, the former governor would be on an independent line, and a socialist would be the leading candidate for mayor right now. That was impossible, really, truly impossible to see just 6 or 7 months ago, if you think about it.
Yeah, I mean, you're a Republican, right? And you support Donald Trump, correct?
Yeah.
Donald Trump, though, has said that Curtis isn't ready for primetime. Made a mention about cats in Gracie Mansion when he was on Fox News. So it wasn't this glowing recommendation. So what do you do as a Republican then when you look at the race and maybe don't like your choice for the Republican Party?
I think what I'm going to do and what a lot of the public is going to do is just wait and see who's in second place. Now, ironically, the only one of the 3 candidates that aren't Zohran Mamdani that I haven't gotten to an argument with over the last couple of years actually is Zohran Mamdani. He's the only one I haven't fought with over the last decade or so. So it's going to be interesting to see me and a lot of the public, I think, wait to see which one of these 3, imperfect choices, let's say, becomes the second place person who has the best chance of beating him. That's crazy to think about, that someone who, like me, was critical of Andrew Cuomo for many, many years might consider voting for him, or Eric Adams, or even Curtis Sliwa. It's an incredible position that we're in. But I will say this, Zohran Mamdani is the only one of the 4 of them actually presenting a vision for the future of New York. Now, I hate that vision. I think if he's successful in what he accomplishes, it actually makes the city worse. But that's the real, delta between Mamdani and the 3 other candidates, is that they're just not presenting their vision in a way that New Yorkers are latching onto and envisioning themselves over the next 4 years as residents.
Yeah, and so as a Republican, you're in an interesting point because you're looking at this saying, okay, well, I guess I'll vote for whoever's in second place, right? So if that is a Democrat, right, whether it's Andrew Cuomo or Mayor Adams, is that who you will support?
Yeah, I mean, I joke, but I almost wanted to fist fight Andrew Cuomo at one point. In fact, I saw him at an event last night. I was in the back room of something, and some emotions came over me going back to COVID and things like that. But the reality is, I mean, he might be the candidate that is best positioned to beat Mamdani and bring back a centrist or moderate governance to New York. That's something that you would have never heard out of my mouth, I assure you, in the height of COVID, when he was shutting down my family Thanksgiving just 5 years ago.
Well, it's such an interesting conversation to have with a Republican saying, I may not vote for the Republican. So you're, right at this moment in time, Joe, are undecided.
I am genuinely an undecided person. Look, I think Mayor Adams in the last 18 months has really turned things around. And frankly, I wish more people would notice that. I am someone who rides the subway, commutes into Manhattan, whether I'm driving or riding the subway. But I'm there most days a week. And I have seen things improve in New York City. I think that's objective. I think a lot of people, when I talk to them just about politics and political trends and how the mayor's doing, I think a lot of people have seen a difference over this period. I don't know if it's enough. I don't know if it's enough for Mayor Adams to have these successes and to be able to sort of rewrite the history of his administration. And I want him to. I just don't know if there's enough time, enough interest in the public to be able to do that.
What do you think of, like, when you look at some of these polls and you look at an area like Staten Island, right? And Zohran's actually kind of leading in a Republican borough.
Look, I have not seen any candidate, Democratic Party candidate, ever have lawn signs in my former district on the South Shore. Now, the joke was that Trump can shoot someone on Fifth Avenue and get away with it. Trump could shoot someone on Highland Boulevard in the South Shore of Staten Island and probably get away with it in real life. That said, I have never seen any Cuomo signs, Adams signs, or whomever on the South Shore of Staten Island. I have to say, I have seen multiple people who are now, I'm assuming they've always been hiding as progressives in my neighborhood,
yeah.
but they seem to be, awakened and emboldened in support of Mamdani. I mean, look, I'm a student of politics. I don't hate the player, I hate the game kind of thing. So I respect that people are really gravitating to him. Again, going back to what I said, he's the only one really trying to shape a message of the future of New York under his leadership.
And I want to talk to you about political climate and rhetoric, Joe, because death threats being made to the nominee Zohran Mamdani. And last week on this show, I had Speaker Adrienne Adams here, who was saying she actually misses a time of working with the opposing party and referenced good conversations that she had with you. And said that why can't we get back to a point in time where Republicans and Democrats can talk to each other civilly and disagree? What's your take?
I don't think she's wrong at all. Look, I mean, when I'm on the floor of the council or I'm on a news program, people elected me to be a Republican and to make that point known, right? So you have to be vocal about who you are. You have to push back on what you see is really wrong on the other side, and you have to be sincere and genuine about it. But when you have two people, the speaker and I, who just know where we both stand and don't hold that personal grudge, it's easier to have that conversation 30 minutes later in her office about, wow, that got tense, but let's talk about the issue. Is there room for compromise? Why does it have to be this way, et cetera? I have that relationship. I've been very blessed with a lot of people on the Democratic Party throughout this city. I tried very hard. That's really the hardest part of that was the hardest part of my job for many years is sort of maintaining that balance. But it's necessary, and I think people lose sight of that balance. And the advice I give to all politicians who are just newly elected or getting into office or running for office is if someone offers to have a beer with you after, session in Albany or something, take them up on it, go out, know your colleagues, understand where they come from, and it'll be a better world because you've done it.
Great conversation with Joseph Borelli, enjoying life from the private sector now. Come on back soon, okay? Good to see you.